Hey! Welcome to the big show on a filthy Thursday. How are you, folks? Great to be with you again. What's going on? Another week in the books, fellas. Over 200 shows. We didn't even make a big deal. Did we? Over 200, D? All right.
Yeah, we're at 206.
It's a big fucking deal.
I know. It's a big fucking deal, as Biden said. And we didn't even mention it. We got shit to do. Somebody's told me there's something called a kilo. It's better than Juul. The cartridges are bigger and the battery lasts longer. His name was Pablo Escobar. Anyway, what is going on? Don't forget to go to nickdip.com, get all my tour dates. I'm going to be in the Newtown Theater, Newtown, Pennsylvania, August 10th. And then the following weekend, I have to go back there to Helium in Philadelphia, Helium Comedy Club, August 16th and 17th. Thursday, October 10th, Levity Live in Nyack, New York. Friday, November 15th, the Cortland Repertory Theater, Cortland. Saturday, November 16th, Comedy Works, Saratoga Springs. New Year's Eve, the Tarrytown Music Hall, Tarrytown, New York. And then in 2020, Friday, January 24th, the Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut. I want to shoot a special in that venue. Saturday, February 15th, Kelsey Theater, Lake Park, Florida. Go to nickdib.com. Cameo.com. You want me to send you a personal message roasting one of your friends or your enemies or a relative, whoever, your guidance counselor, your rehab coke man. I will tear him a new asshole. Yes. Go to cameo.com, go to my profile, click on it. What is going on today? And don't forget Brett the Fresh Air on YouTube. A hair under 600,000. That thing's going to have a mill by Christmas. Best career move I've ever made. That and buying this shirt. Listen, what's going on? Obviously, Mueller hearing, or they should have called it Mueller hard of hearing. Holy shit, this is a guy that we feared? This poor Mr. Magoo son of a bitch? I actually felt bad, and I really believe after watching him that he did nothing but delegate. He reminded me of me when I didn't do my homework, and on Monday they call on you. Nick, what did you think of The Great Gatsby? Well, he was great. His name was Gatsby. I have no idea. I let my Asian friend do the book report. He didn't know what the fuck. And look, he's 70-something, you know. But this guy was the cream of the crop, according to everybody in D.C., as far as a relentless, sharp mind, and age catches up to you. Which makes me believe, after his horrible showing, that this might have been, he didn't just get senile overnight. I'm sure he was tired 2 years ago when this started, or 3 years ago. And it makes me believe that the thing about the golf course with Trump, this was like personal. You know what I mean? He's like, I'll just fuck with him. He is a Marine and he is a patriot, but I'll just put a scare in him. I'll delegate, I'll sit back and we'll just, I think. I don't know. It was embarrassing. No matter how you slice it, MSNBC. They're on last night. I can't even pull the clips from them. They make me so sick. They're on there in a panel going, well, they still got what they wanted, the Democrats. The facts were still out there. He just didn't deliver it well. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God. You fucking people are... Trump derangement syndrome? You guys are at the peak. What are you trying to do? Talk yourselves out of 2020 completely? And then they say this is the first act. It isn't over yet. Are you fucking dog-styling me? Keep going. He wins again. He wins the election. He wins the Kavanaugh hearings. He wins the fucking Russia hoax. You'll be sick of winning, I'm telling you. You know what? He hasn't been wrong yet. Immigration thing. Remember, it got appealed, and they appealed it, and he won that. The only thing is the fucking wall. Get some Mexicans out there with some cement. Let's get that thing going. That's the solution. Have them build it. But pay them like union wages, America. I'm serious. Anyway, so we're coming at you live, Patreon. We love you because
we'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live.
By the way, this is the biggest month we've had signing up people. What do you think of that? 200 shows in. Huh? You people are the bread and butter, Patreon. And you people out there who watch on Mondays and you want the other 3 shows, you're going to have to go to Patreon. And you might have to because I told you Facebook is kind of fucking with me. I'll get into more details on Monday. And so you better be, Be ready to jump. I don't know where to. YoungLatinoHousewives.org. That's what I say. Anyways, Mueller shit the bed because guys like Chuck Todd, a company shill, a left-winger, a lying lib Democrat, who's a Sunday morning show. He's got worse hair than Biden. And even he, Chuck Todd, Meet the Press moderator, called former special counsel Mueller's testimony a disaster for Democrats from an optics perspective. It was a disaster all around. They can't bring themselves to say it. It was a disaster, not just the way he delivered it, the content stunk. Jesus Christ, you guys are deranged. Impeachment based on what? What high crimes and misdemeanors? What? Because he told McGahn to tell Bubba that I'm, if I don't, I'm going to fire. What? They got nothing. Fucking Nadler. I predict this. Nadler's going to die in 2 years. He used to be about 600 pounds. That's no bullshit. He looks like a corpse every time he has his pallor is that of a corpse, and he's going to die. But here's Chuck Todd. Again, remember, Chuck Todd, Meet the Press, a left wing who he helps with the left-wing propaganda every week with his show. It's the longest-running show. Millions of people watch it. He hates Trump. He hates Republicans. Even he had to come clean. Go ahead.
But he provided such, what do you call it, uncomfortable clarity? He as they were using him for clarity, he'd somehow fog it up.
But he directly,
and how he would do certain things. And so, look, on optics, this was a disaster.
But he directly
on optics, it was a disaster. Speaking of bad optics, how about that haircut and that shit beard? What are you, in 8th grade? Look at that fucking hairdo. It's the favorite hairdo of every lesbian in West Hollywood. Optics, they're trying to put a spin on it. It was a total disaster. That's as close as he's come to being objective in the last 20 years. He's not the only one. Chris Wallace, Fox News, who called the hearing a disaster for Democrats and for the reputation of Robert Mueller. I don't know about that. The guy's just fucking old and senile during the discussion. Todd's argument saw some pushback from the left on social media. That's where you go for clear thinking when it comes to politics and objective thinking. You go to social media, which is just ridden. It's like a kid from Ecuador with head lice that fucking just riddled with fucking lefty psychos on the Seth Moulton, he's a lefty from Massachusetts. He said after Todd mentioned bad optics, the Constitution doesn't say anything about optics. Moulton wrote to his 144,000 followers. Another guy in denial completely.
You can't handle the truth.
Doesn't mention optics. No, it's something you guys made up 10 minutes ago. That's why it's not in the Constitution. The optics were great, depending on what side you were on. I thought they were beautiful. My picture was crystal clear. Mueller was like fucking Mr. Magoo up there. No fucking... I actually felt bad for the guy, even though I think he's he was a Marine and shit, but he turned into a bad cop. He spent too much time in D.C. But he felt he was lost. Either that or he was acting. Yeah, I don't know. I almost thought he was putting on an act. You can't be in charge of that big of an investigation and be that senile. Like I said, it didn't just happen overnight. Maybe he's a great actor. I don't know. Can you repeat that? I don't know. But you know who stole the show? And Rich pointed this out, and I agreed when you sent me that. I already had it. Jim Jordan, who was absolutely superb. It reminded me of my boy Lindsey Graham during the Kavanaugh hearings. This guy stood out, was the MVP. But here is Jim Jordan, and for you lefties out there who still believe in impeachment and all this shit, and Trump's a fucking war criminal and a Nazi, listen to this because he lays it out. He lays it out beautifully. Go ahead, Jim Jordan.
What I'm wondering is, who told Papadopoulos? How'd he find out?
I can't get into the evidentiary file.
Yes, you can, because you wrote about it. You gave us the answer. Page 192 of the report, you tell us who told him. Joseph Nipson.
Nipson. Hey.
Joseph Nipson's a guy who told Papadopoulos. The mysterious professor who lives in Rome and London, teaches in 2 different universities. This is the guy who told Papadopoulos. He's the guy who starts it all. And when the FBI interviews him, he lies 3 times, and yet you don't charge him with a crime.
Pause.
You charge.
Why should we? We didn't charge Hillary with a crime. Wah, 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 wah. This is like a UFC fight. One guy is 71 years old. The other guy's 23. You got a guy at the top of his game, Jim Jordan, just beating the fucking stuffings out of Mr. Magoo. Go ahead.
You charge Rick Gates for false statements. You charge Paul Manafort for false statements. You charge Michael Cohen with false statements. You charge Michael Flynn, a 3-star general, with false statements.
And you're a Marine.
But the guy who puts the country through this whole saga, starts it all for 3 years we've lived this now, he lies, and you guys don't charge him.
Why is that?
And I'm curious as to why.
Ask the
Well, I
black guy
can't get
behind
into
you.
it, and it's obvious, I think, that we can't get into charging decisions.
When the FBI interviewed him in February, FBI interviews him in February, when the special counsel's office interviewed Mifsud, did he lie to you guys too?
Can't get into that.
Did you interview
Pause. Is that a legitimate answer when you're under questioning from a committee? I can't get into that. I used to say that when I come home, drunk on a Friday night, that my father's car was dented. What happened? Were you drinking? I can't get into that. He goes, here's something you can get into, a casket. Fucking hit me silly. Go ahead.
Mifsud?
Can't get into that.
Is Mifsud Western intelligence or
Can't get
Russian
into that.
intelligence?
Can't get into that.
A lot of things you can't get into. What's interesting, you can charge 13 Russians no one's ever heard of, no one's ever seen.
They're hockey players.
No one's ever going to hear of them. No one's ever going to see them. You can charge them. You can charge all kinds of people who are around the president with false
Why is
statements.
Ben Vereen behind Jordan?
But the guy who launches the guy who puts this whole story in motion, you can't charge him. I think that's amazing.
I'm not certain I agree with your characterizations.
Well, I'm reading from your report. Mifsud told Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos tells the diplomat.
Pause. You're disagreeing with your own characterizations. Oh, my God. What's this? Did he sleep through the last 2 years? This is fucking fabulous. And there's a soft spot because it's just senility and he was too old for the job. It's like drafting. This is who the Dems picked or whoever, both, for a special counsel. This is who they came up with. This is like, you get a first-round draft pick in baseball. And we're going to go with Ricky Henderson. Well, he retired 10 years ago. Yeah, but he was great. Go ahead.
The diplomat tells the FBI opens the investigation July 31st, 2016, and here we are 3 years later, July of 2019, the country's been put through this, and the central figure who launches it all
Nibs it.
lies to us, and you guys don't hunt him down and interview him again, and you don't charge him with a crime. Now here's the good news. Here's the good news. The president was falsely accused of conspiracy. The FBI does a 10-month investigation, and James Comey, when we deposed him a year ago, told us at that point they had nothing. You do a 22-month investigation. At the end of that 22 months, you find no conspiracy. And what's the Democrats want to do? They want to keep investigating.
They want to
keep going.
Keep that ball in the air.
Maybe a better course of action is to figure out how the false accusation started.
Willie Barr will do that.
Maybe it's to go back and actually figure out why Joseph Mifsud was lying to the FBI. And here's the good news. Here's the good news. That's exactly what Bill Barr's doing. And thank goodness for that. That's exactly what the Attorney General and John Durham are doing. They're going to find out why we went through this three-year saga and get to the bottom.
The time of the gentleman has expired.
He's like, yeah, I'm glad it expired. I'm like a boxer. I got a guy unconscious against the ropes, and my arms are getting tired from beating him fucking silly. Oh, God, help us. Jim Jordan. He was outstanding. You lefties, are you connecting the dots? Dean Abadiah, my friend at Sirius Radio. I used to walk by his studio. He was an anti-Trump guy, real left-winger, and I used to, give him the bird. Every night he'd give it back to me. I keep thinking of him. You guys have made, as we say in Boston, total assholes of yourself. But Jim Jordan really let it fly. And this is when I knew fucking Mueller. This is when I knew they were in deep doo-doo. Mueller, not familiar with Fusion GPS. He wasn't even familiar with Fusion GPS. Christopher Steele, the dossier. He must have delegated to some bartenders where he hung out or something. I don't know what he didn't know fusion. That was at the center of getting the FISA warrant.
Remember when he did that press conference that he said he was going to retire? He sounded very coherent. He sounded like he had a vendetta against Trump. I think Bill Barr stepped in and said, you keep your mouth shut, or, they have something on Mueller. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
He said he was going to retire, and
remember we watched it in here? He did that press conference where he was like, he basically opened up the Democrats' hopes again, and then they let him to testify after that. He sounded coherent. He sounded like he had, he was putting like basically Trump on the burner. And I just really think that Bill Barr stepped in right after that, or Trump somehow.
He sicked 19 Democrat lawyers on his team against Trump. That's why I think it's personal. That guy fucking Weissman is the dirtiest lawyer in the country. And but you said something when you first said that. After coherent, what did you say?
He sounded like he had a vendetta against Trump. Remember, he gave that press conference and he basically said, "I'm retiring from being a special prosecutor." Remember, we did that press conference.
Yes.
He sounded nothing like he sounded here in the hearing.
I know.
So I think somebody stepped in like William Barr, because William Barr's the boss of him.
I don't think he stepped in at that point. We don't even know who he was at that point, William Barr. Steve Chabot of Republican Ohio, he says, thank you, Director Mueller. My Democrat colleagues were very disappointed in your report. They were expecting, he sums it up good too, you to say something along the lines of, here's why President Trump deserves to be impeached, much as Ken Starr did relative to President Clinton back 20 years ago. Well, you didn't come up with the goods, so their strategy had to change. Now they allege that there's plenty of evidence in your report to impeach the president, but the American people just didn't read it. Once again, we're the dummies. And this hearing today is their last best hope to build up some sort of groundswell across America to impeach Trump. That's what this is really about today. That's exactly what it was. Now, a few questions, he says, on page 103. Page 103 of Volume 2 of your report. When discussing the June 2016 Trump Tower meeting, you referenced the firm in it that produced the Steele reporting. Here's the video.
The name of that firm was Fusion GPS. Is that correct? And you're on page 103? 103, that's correct,
Yep.
Volume 2.
A Playboy magazine.
When you talk about the firm that produced the Steele reporting,
I thought it was Chevrolet.
The name of the firm that produced that was Fusion GPS. Is that correct? I'm not familiar with that. Let me just help. It was. It's not a trick question. Right? It was Fusion GPS. Now, Fusion GPS produced the opposition research.
He's being questioned by Terry Bradshaw. Not familiar with it. It was at the heart of this whole thing. I'll tell you who is familiar with it, William Barr and that lawyer Dunham, that federal attorney that he's putting in charge. We're going to get to the bottom of this shit. The thick-ankle dog face must be in the bathroom shitting her bloomers right now. What's the matter, fellas? Headphone problems? What's the matter?
Yeah, I think it's a headphone problem.
I think it's a hat problem. Maybe you can't hear because you got a winter hat on. It's 106 down here. What are you, a 14-year-old black girl? Deke Blackburn. Can you imagine? He says, that's when I was like, hoo, this is a disaster. I'm not familiar. Are you familiar with a guy named Donald Trump? I've heard of him. How about James Comey? Yes. He didn't even come up, did he, Comey's name? You know why? Because they're best friends. Hey, Democrats, this backfired in your face. Big time. Reminds me of those clips we play when guys are lighting fire, fucking fireworks. It's half a stick of dynamite. They have 10 Heinekens in them. And they look over the bucket it's in. Bang! You go bye-bye. Here is Mueller, who's often celebrated in the media for laser-like thinking, 71 years ago, had to ask lawmakers to regularly repeat their questions, seemingly struggling to pay attention. He did. He had the fucking attention span of a crack baby. At other points, Mueller got confused about whether the members of the Congress were asking him questions or if they were reading from his own report. That's an unfair question. I write, well, it's in your report. Oh, I wrote that? That's what I'm saying. He didn't even write it. He did what I did in fucking college. I had a buddy who was a great computer programmer. I go, I need this on my desk by Monday. He got confused. Anyways, just the first 90 minutes of the hearing, Mueller needed help understanding questions more than 10 times. Here's some of the video of him being confused.
The president committed the crime of obstruction. You could not publicly state that in your report or here today.
What? Can you repeat the question, sir? You're going to have to repeat that for me. Can you repeat the last part of that question?
Yeah. Which act?
Pardon?
Can you read the last question?
He's smirking.
The last question was
I want to make certain I got it accurate. I'm sorry, could you restate?
The individual is in fact obligated to provide what's being demanded by the regulation or statute, meaning you don't have any wiggle room, right?
What? I'd have to look more closely at the statute.
I gotta look more closely.
I just read it to you.
And what was the question, sir?
How long is your neck?
Correct.
And where are you reading from on that?
I'm reading from my question.
I'm reading from a coloring book, your daughter.
Then could you repeat it?
Okay.
Look,
Is that correct on
He's
the
laughing.
screen?
Can you repeat the question? And now that I have the language
translator.
Is it correct?
on the screen. What was the question?
Pardon?
Can you read the last question?
Look at the people
The
in the
last
background.
question was,
Oh
I
my
want-
I
God.
got it accurate. I apologize.
Sure.
Can you start it again?
Okay.
Where did I buy my wig?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one?
Attorney number 2 in the Inspector General's report and Strzok both worked on your team, didn't they?
Pardon me, can you ask?
They both worked on your team, didn't they?
I know, I heard Strzok. Who else were you talking about?
Attorney number 2 identified in the Inspector General's report.
Okay. And the question was?
Volume 2, page 87 and 88 of your report. True?
Oh my God. I kept thinking of those two old guys on the Muppets on the balcony. What? There's something wrong with this this play we're watching. Well, what's wrong with it? The seats are facing the stage. What? I know. Oh, the poor prick. He's got to go in. And they're saying this is the first act. We're going to go after him more. Who are you going to get? Going to dig up Reagan and have him for? Look at Mark Twain's fucking nephew behind him. A giant fucking forehead, granny glasses. Is that Steve Scalise? Who's on the left there? Looks like he hasn't taken a good dump in about 3 weeks. Well, anyways, Mr. Mueller, I'm sorry. This guy was a Marine and a patriot, and I'm piling on, and I should, because you know what? He fucking agreed to do this. He was the head of this fucking witch hunt. I only give you this much sympathy. What?
Do you think there was some sort of audio problem there that he just couldn't hear them, or?
Well, there was an audio problem. His eardrum's 111 years old. This guy used to rock out. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that is a tactic when people are being questioned, investigated. That is a tactic that they, could you repeat the questions, and they start to think about lies they can come up with. It buys you a little bit of time. Done it in many relationships. Where were you? Could you repeat the question? It's at the Gold Club, hanging out with the Pistons. Who the fuck were you? And notice my noodles aren't made. Quack, quack, quack. Let's move on to some more anti-Trump. The whole world's against him, and he's winning. He's winning. Bette Midler. You know who Bette Midler is? Little trivia question. Who was the last guest Johnny Carson had? Bette Midler. Sang to him. She's a typical Upper West Side Manhattan ultra-liberal showbiz figure. Gay guys love her. Not sure why. Anyways, Bette Midler offended many when she dismissed African-American supporters of President Trump as blackground and accused them of being paid. Look, she says, there are African-American men in the shot. How much did he pay them to be blackground? Get it? Not background, blackground, Midler mused Wednesday. And I love this because she's as liberal. She's a liberal icon, but even she, once again, libs eating libs. That set off the world, and fuck, I don't have a problem with that. I don't give a shit, other than she hates Trump so much. But she got in all kinds of trouble with that.
You stupid fucking blabbermouth cunt!
Oh, don't talk like that. She got ripped on social media by all the people who are holier than thou, and they're like, oh, Jesus. Vince Charles said on Twitter @YesThatVCharles, just when I think you couldn't go any lower. What else? Midler, 73, has been a frequent and voice-first critic of Trump. In June, she deleted a tweet in which she suggested maybe someone in his camp can give him a shiv. That's Jewish for stabbing somebody. I'm sitting shiva. I have no fucking idea. But we have a picture of Bette Midler. She shouldn't be talking about race because look at this. Holy Christ. That's me after 2 days in St. Bart's. What's with the fucking eyebrow? She must have kissed that guy. She's got John Belushi's eyebrow. She's with a guy in blackface. That is the blackest blackface I have ever... This could have been 20 years ago. That guy still has that shit on his face. What's he made of? Goodyear rubber? He actually has a mustache. See it? He's got a black mustache and a horn coming out of his head, I think. Fucking, how dare you, racist? You are a racist. Although they do that, you know. They do. Obama, all the politicians, they stack. Although that's what I notice about Trump's rallies, they don't. You'll see maybe one black guy in the back surrounded by a zillion white people. And God forbid, that's a sin, though. But they will load it. Trump did load one speech I was watching. He did. That's kind of that was obvious. He's got the starting team for Kentucky behind him. This is Trump's like, what? He goes, sure, there's only 6 people behind me, but we got thousands outside, thousands of Bushmen waiting in that heat. They don't mind the heat, you know. Black people have a bigger surface area. They can handle the heat. That's the theory, by the way. I didn't just make that up. I had to Google it. Jason's making all kinds of Westchester faces. That's crazy. Well, a black doctor came up with it. I'm just telling you. Look at that. That's one of Trump's golf courses. Those are the people that work there. Kemba, the greens are looking a little rough on 11. Get your goat out there and eat them weeds. But they do stack the deck. But Bette Midler, you're supposed to be above this. And you know what? You're not. You're as bad as anybody else. Typical lib judging us as far as being deplorable. But look at you with the darkest man alive. Jesus, who is that? Matumbe? All right, let's move on to some more political correctness that really fries my apples and rusts my nipples. Forever 21 is a store for young people, right? Is that why it's called Forever 20? I go in there just to scare the kids that work there. I always buy inappropriate shit, you know, and I'll watch, you know, 2 25-year-old girls picking out jeans, and I'll be behind them going, get those, the ones with the holes in the ass. Then I'll go, did I just say that out loud? Fucking next thing you know, security's coming. Paul Blart is escorting me out of the... Anyways, Forever 21 apologized after sending diet bars with on. No good deed goes unpunished. They sent out diet bars with their orders to everybody to be nice, as you know, thank you for buying shit at our store. But naturally, the diet bars, you know, were taken the wrong way by some fat chick with a fucking mustache. Forever 21 had issued an apology. That's your first mistake. After it shipped diet bars along with customers' orders, the company says the Atkins bars were meant as a free gift and was shipped with all orders, not just you fat fucks on my 600-pound life. But many customers took offense, claiming the shipments were fat-phobic. And they keep making up words that don't exist. That's how you know your cause is bullshit. Fat-phobic. People are upset. What are you trying to tell me? I'm fat? Yeah, that's exactly what.
Will you shut up? Will you please shut up? Will you shut up? Shut. Good. What about me? What?
Bought a swimsuit online. This is on naturally social media from Forever 21, and my waist is Forever 81. And they sent me an Adkins, spelled wrong, bar along with it. Wrote a Twitter user, Cholesterol Kenny. No, Calaragugu. I don't know. Thank you for reminding me that I don't have a beach-ready bod. What a fucking...
You gotta grow up. You're not a kid anymore. You hear me? You gotta grow up.
Apparently, those Atkins bars don't taste that good. What is that? Cat shit in a bag? What did they send them? Who's the girl on the left? She sent that in, Miss Gigi. I went from a size 24 to 18, still a plus-size girl. Plus size, you're a fat fuck. Never mind plus-size girl. So I ordered jeans from Forever 21. Open the package. When I looked inside, I see this Atkins bar. What are you trying to tell me for? I'm fat, lose weight? Do you give these to non-plus-size women? Of course. We send them out to our anorexic people just trying to get something in their stomachs. You fucking, what a generation of, so now you have to have trigger warnings when you send out a gift. They're trying to be nice, and everybody got them, okay? You paper-thin fucking, you ever have a spring roll at a Japanese, Chinese restaurant? You know the shit they roll them in? That's the skin millennials have. How to deep fry you motherfuckers with cabbage. Oh, God. From time to time, this is Forever 21 in a statement. From time to time, Forever 21 surprises our customers with a free test product. Oh, their test products. That's great. This one killed 2 fat gerbils. We're sending it to Diane. With free test products from third parties in their e-commerce orders. The company, the freebie items in question were included in all online orders across all sizes and categories for a limited time and have since been removed. This was an oversight on our part. You just explained why it's not offensive. It was sent to everybody. And then in the next breath, you're backpedaling. Something the fat broads ought to try. And guys. Do guys buy from this store? I know gay guys do. I actually bought something at Abercrombie & Fitch when I was in my 40s. That was hilarious. I walk out of the store, and I'm carrying the bag that they gave me, and I see the reflection of my bag in, like, one of the store windows, and it's got, like, a male model with no shirt on ripped. I looked behind me. I had, like, 11 gay guys following me. I was like the Pied Piper. Brought them all to Cinnabon. I said, get rid of that six-pack, fat buck. This was an oversight on our part, and we sincerely apologize for any offense this may have caused to our customers, as this was not our intention anyway. Others on social media confirmed the bars were sent with all online orders, not just to plus-size customers. This criticism comes as diversity and inclusion of people of all shapes, sizes, and colors has increasingly become a focus for retailers and fashion companies. You know, plus size. Plus size. The real heavy one should be multiplication size. Victoria's Secret has come under fire and lost customers for failing to cater to a wide range of customers of different sizes. Do you see the world we live in? So some chubby broads get upset that Victoria's Secret doesn't make, bloomers the size of military parachutes for them.
They sent out some Kit Kats. I bet they would have been chilled out about it.
Yeah, I know. I have to agree with that a bunch. Not bad, Rich. That's the world we live in, though. Girls, just because you want something to be so doesn't make it so. I wanted to be a fucking running back, for the Dallas Cowboys when I was a kid or whoever. Didn't happen. Okay? You can't have envy is the worst of the 7 cent. Envy is the fucking absolute worst. And this country is loaded with it. Listen to this. Others like Walmart and Target. Now, there you'll find some plus size. I was in Walmart. Holy shit. I couldn't get around this woman for 10 minutes. She was like a fucking, what do you call it? We call it a rotary up north. You guys call it a roundabout or what do you call it?
Circle.
Not a fucking circle.
No, a traffic circle. Yeah.
No. I say no. No, you don't. You don't. I'm not coming up with the right word. It's not a roundabout or a fucking anyway.
Well, roundabout's a word for it, but yeah, we also call it a traffic circle.
Oh, do you? So I was right. You
call
it
it an oval?
too. No, we call it a rotary up north, you dinkweed.
There's a telephone.
A rotary, yes. It's a fucking rotary. Deke, I can't take you serious. You got a 12-year-old black guy's hat on. What's that, to keep the heat in? It's 112 out. Fucking, I love these Southerners. Crazy motherfuckers. Okay, you get the point. I had a lady smile at me at Walmart. She had sleeve tattoos on both arms, pushing 2 kids in a cart, about 45. Smiles at me. She had fangs. She filed her fucking eye teeth. I was being nice. I go, hi. She goes, hi. I dove into one of the tents in the sporting goods section. Alienating plus-size consumers could also mean missing out on huge market opportunity. Its industry analysts estimate worth to be about $21 billion with a B. Is that where people go, plus-size girls, to Walmart and Target to get there? I'm just saying, you can't have it. And you shouldn't be mad at girls who are skinny and pretty. When I watch porn, you think I'm happy looking at those guys with fucking giant cocks? Of course I am. My dad was into it, but I'm like, chip off the old block. Body shaming. Well, here's the way to get a plus-size figure. You go to McDonald's and get French fries, and if they're cold, you shoot up the fucking place. I don't think this happened that far from us. Georgia woman got cold French fries at McDonald's. She pulled out a gun and fired a shot. Now, B, being the racist that I am, said, bet you she was a black chick. Guess what? Right again. I've been right more times than Trump in his first term. Can you imagine? She shot into the floor. Apparently, that's where they make French fries. The Keebler elves are in the basement. And fucking... I'm loving it. A woman's facing multiple charges after she fired a gun into a McDonald's floor because her French fries were cold. What's funny is I had McDonald's a couple weeks ago, about a mile from my house down here, and the fries were ice cold. What's even funnier, I was in the drive-thru. It's like midnight, on a Saturday. I'm the only white person in the fucking I was laughing, going, I love Georgia. Integration. And they didn't put salt on them. I swear to God, they found them in the bathroom on the sink and just... ice fucking cold. Yeah, so she shot into the floor. The woman originally left McDonald's. It gets even more interesting with her order on Monday afternoon. Monday afternoon she did it, but returned and said her fries were cold. So somebody should die. That's good logic. The station, citing the restaurant owner, said the manager went to get new fries, and the woman went into the kitchen, firing a shot into the floor. Now, that happens in Italian families when the sauce is bad on a Sunday, but... The owner of the restaurant gave the woman a refund, and she left. Hi, after the shooting, that's your response? Let me give you $2 back since you got a Glock on you, and you just put a hole in my sandals. You actually sit down and go, is that how you get money back? Are you going to hit the button, Rich? Go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like it wasn't a Happy Meal.
Save that one for joke school. Are we ever going to do that? Or was that just a fantasy? Anyways. See, that's what they call too easy, Rich. You're getting a lesson. I figure by 2027. It wasn't a Happy Meal. You're right about that. Anyways, the owner of the restaurant gave the woman a fucking refund when she should have bitch slapped him. Today, the woman involved with the incident is 27-year-old Lillian Chantel Tarver. There she is. Look at her. Very happy. This is her high school yearbook picture. The manager said an officer saw her leave the McDonald's in a car at a high rate of speed, and she initially refused to pull over. Of course she did.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black.
Tarver surrendered after a 10 to 15-minute car chase all over cold French fries. Imagine if she got a fillet of fish with no fucking tartar sauce on it. She would have shot up a school. He said there were no injuries in the incident. He also said Tarver fired at the McDonald's but didn't confirm if it was because she was upset over her cold fry. What the fuck else was it? Did she want a Shamrock Shake in July? That'll fucking sit her. People, violence is not the solution. Didn't you listen to your boy, MLK Jr.? The fellow who was giggling, was one of his friends was raping a girl. Didn't you listen to him? Another food-related story, ladies and gentlemen. A man accused of killing his wife claims powerful group infected him with what, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, mayonnaise. Affected him with mayonnaise. Arrested in the death of his wife, Nathaniel Robertson admitted during an interview with the sheriff's detectives to beating her with a concrete block. Hellman's will have that effect on you. Mayonnaise. It reminded me of this.
Got mayonnaise on your chin. What? Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise.
Look at Christopher. He's got ketchup on his forehead. But Robertson, in a confusing, rambling statement, said he did it to give her compassion and mercy. I'll repeat that. This is how he gave his girlfriend compassion and mercy, by beating her with a fucking rock until she was... He said, as the alignments were not in place to protect her. He said he had been infected by mayonnaise, those... What's the Illuminati, apparently owned by Hellman's. Affected by mayonnaise they put in him. That was semen, fella. The they in the case was a group of brutal, powerful people, Robertson said he couldn't identify. One of them was Jerry Nadler, he said. There was something inside him releasing information from the Revolutionary War. I could have used that during a history test. Asked if he used drugs, he said he used ice to help him breathe, meth. But Commander, he's channeling information about the Civil War, the Revolutionary, as he beats his girl silly with a rock.
You're fucking crazy.
I am not. Ice is commonly used to refer to methamphetamine. Robinson also said he'd been ingesting crystal. Not the shit you put in your drinks when you're a fat chick trying to buy it Forever 21. Which a detective understood meant crystal meth. Ooh, what a detective. He put that together, huh? Fuck. Kojak. Robertson said he loved... Oh, it's his wife, not his girlfriend. Robertson said he loved his wife, and she was his best friend, and we can see that. It's obvious. Honey, you want to taste a concrete block? I didn't want it to be a painful thing, he said. I didn't want to hit her a bunch of times. I wanted to end it. I didn't want her suffering. Deputies dispatched to her residence on July 11th found blood splattered across the floor at the front entrance. Lydia Robertson was lying on the floor with a major head trauma. Good thing there's no evidence. And a large pool of blood surrounding her. O.J. Simpson was seen in the kitchen having a snack. A large concrete block was next to her. A neighbor told deputies she heard arguing coming from the Robertsons' residence the night before. The neighbor said she saw Nathaniel Robertson leave the residence and later return carrying what she described as a large rock. Robertson again left his residence around 1:30, walked toward Riverview Park, the neighbor said. Another person said Nathaniel Robertson suffered from mental illness. Oh, don't prejudge. And abused drugs. He and Lydia remained married for financial reasons. They wanted to get tickets to the next NASCAR race. Or WWE. Deputies arrested Nathaniel Robertson at the park. He said he had been walking around looking for a place to kill himself. Oh, God help us. What is going on? The very fabric is unraveling. I guess this shit, people say this has gone on since the beginning of time and we just didn't hear about it. I don't think so. I think, ice and meth and shit has really kicked up and, no pilgrim beat his wife with a rock to death because they had too much maple syrup.
Mayonnaise.
If somebody infected me with mayonnaise, I would just go out and taste some Miracle Whip.
You would taste some Miracle Whip?
Yeah, that would be a miracle. It would cure it.
I've had Miracle Whip. You know what it made me want to do? It made me want to beat somebody with a rock to death. It's mayonnaise, but it's it's like sweet. It's for real white trash. Ugh, Miracle Whip. Ugh. Ugh. I was trying to think of that, actually, Rich, when I was looking at this story. So you'd say because it's got the word miracle or taken. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Crickets.
You make Rip Taylor look like Lenny Bruce. Nobody knows Rip Taylor. He's a gay guy with a seltzer bottle and confetti. Silly mustache. Oh. Deke, I know you don't. You're 11 years old with a 12-year-old hat on. Details on woman stealing a pair of dentures. Welcome to the South. And then wearing them to meet her probation officer.
Get out of my room, you sick cunt.
There's no bacteria there. Anything fucking grosser than dentures? Yeah, somebody else's. Imagine throwing those fuckers in, and I wanted to... We got a picture of her without the dentures, don't we? Hey, dick face. Look at that. It's like the miniature elephant man. Gets a runny nose, and he just sucks the snots down his throat. It's a circle of life. Look at the hairdo. Who's his hairdresser? Bernie Sanders? Hello. Stole a lady's dentures. Can you imagine, Deacon? That is gross. This happened to me when I was, right after I got out of college, living in Boston, sleeping around like a pig. And this girl licked my butthole. The next day, she goes, I forgot my toothpaste. I said, use mine. She goes, gross. Said, you licked my ass last night. That doesn't get a laugh, Deke? You're fucking retarded. You should be falling over on that one. I know it wasn't a Miracle Whip joke, but... Oh, but how about to put them in to meet with your probate? Like, that's going to make a difference. Oh, Diane, what a smile. We're going to knock some time off your fucking... Two more stories to end the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to them. Italy is sending phone-addicted teens to rehab. And you got to love the Italians, don't you? They really... Italy is planning on packing phone-addicted teenagers off to rehab with a tough new law to curb social media obsession. We ought to try that over here.
Eddie, your phone is tapped.
Gazarich.
Listen, I'm not going to use this line anymore. Go to Chen Lu's. I'll call you.
Go to Chen Lu's. New legislation is set to crack down on a phenomenon called, listen to this, nomophobia, which means living in fear of losing your mobile phone and having no internet connection. That's now a phobia. This is why the shrinks, though. You know, they slap a label and everything, then it becomes a medical thing. And, you know, just stop your kid from keep picking up your phone. You know, if you punch him right in the face as hard as you can every time they go to dial. That's a form of Italian rehab. That's probably what they do. According to the bill, 8 out of 10 Italian teens suffer from the tech-related malady, prompting politicians to take a stand. We agree with a study showing expecting likes for posting on social media triggers the chemical dopamine in the brain. It's the same as gambling, and that has been proven. The guy that used to work for Facebook, by the way, what happened to that article, that tech article you were going to send me, remember?
The one about airplane peanuts?
No.
Which tech article?
What the fuck does airplane peanuts got to do with it?
You told me to find document or data.
No. Yesterday during the show, you mentioned you had something about big tech when I brought up Facebook hassling me.
Oh, that was the Google thing. We're doing that Monday.
Oh, we're doing it Monday?
Yeah.
All right. Good answer. That was funnier than your last two jokes. Can you imagine we live in a society where kids are they have such low self-esteem, they're looking for this. This is what gets them excited. Wow. That's just a lack of love from your parents. You need some assholes that pretend friends.
But let's be fair. When you get technology in your hand, you want to punch somebody.
You've said enough for today, okay? You're sucking the life out of my sister's ass. No idea what that means. The bill proposes courses in schools. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Kids will be on their phones during the courses. On the danger of phone addiction. Well, that's where, in this country, that's where the problem is. They can't even take the phones away from the kids. Because the parents go, what if something happens? What the fuck is going to happen? Well, a school shooter. Well, then there's nothing to worry about. He's dead. She's dead. Proposes courses in school on the danger of phone addiction, as well as a campaign to inform parents. In the worst cases, the most frenzied phone fanatics could be sent for re-education at health. That sounds very Russia, circa 9 to 30. Political rehabilitation. Doesn't it? But it is a problem. Where was I? I was having a beer, World of Beer, having a beer there, and I looked around. There's 4 or 5 people in their 20s sitting at the fucking bar. Every one of them. Faces buried in the It's a guy, and there's a young, good-looking girl 2 feet away, and then, he doesn't even know. And he had his phone, the volume up. I had to fucking move my seat. He's playing some horse shit, watching an ESPN NBA show or some fucking... and by the way, ESPN, you have hit rock bottom, man. They had Around the Horn on. I tweeted about this. They had Around the Horn on. That's a sports show. Anthony Reale with his silly haircut. It's a gay black guy. I think his name is Gomez or whatever. And 3 women. That was the panel. And, of course, I tweet about it, and some idiot on Twitter goes, oh, so what you're saying is that they can't talk about it, sports intelligence because they're not white male. I said, no, you dumb fuck. And listen up, everybody. I said, there's probably an ex-athlete who played pro football or baseball, way more qualified, who could use a job at ESPN. But because your side is obsessed with skin color and gender, who would you want to hear talk about pro football? A pro football player or a woman who's watched 10 games or whatever? It's the same as, let's say you're going to have a heart operation, okay? I had this argument with Manny, the Comedy Cellar owner. I've had it with a few owners. They think because they own a comedy club, they know stand-up as well as... Not Manny, he would defer. But other comedy club managers think they know as much because they've been in it for 15 years. And I said, so you watching comedy 15 years is equivalent to me doing it. So I said, with that logic, if you had to have a heart operation and you had a choice between a doctor who's watched 100 heart or a doctor who's performed 100, which one you taking? That's right. Checkmate, bitches. I don't want fucking Rachel Nichols fucking weighing in. All 4'11" of her about how to dunk. Unbelievable. The sheep on fucking social media, just as dumb as the, oh, they have to be white guys to talk. I want the most qualified. If it's a black chick who played tight end for the fucking Broncos for 10 years, yes, I'll listen to her over a white sous chef. Get it? That should be the rant, by the way, for the clip today. That was so fucking well done, I might get a Tony Award. How did I get onto that? I'm talking about phones in Italy. What the fuck happened? Italy's postal police, which tackles online... Italy's postal police. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, Vito, I noticed you've been on the phone for like 18 hours. Your fucking mom's getting mad. Put it the fuck down. I'll find your phone. I'll make one phone call. You'll be dead. Can I use your phone? Italy's postal police, which tackles online crime, will also be asked to monitor excessive phone use. What the fuck? This is a phone being tapped. This happened to me.
They're bringing drugs?
No, they're not. I hung up right away. My phone was tapped.
You listening?
Yes?
Your mother sucks fucking big fucking elephant dicks. You got that?
The move comes on the heels of a study showing that 15% of Guineas, Italians, Wops, greaseballs, teenagers spend more than 10 hours a day on their phone. They're probably sharing carbonara recipes. Half of Italians aged 15 to 20 check their phones at least 75 times a day. And 62% of teenagers are messaging late into the night. Giuseppe Lavagna, head of a group that monitors internet and gambling dependency, said children's attention spans were dropping fast from the 20 minutes recorded a few years ago. He added, we can now compare them to fish. They always compare shit to fish in Italy. Who can concentrate for 9 seconds. So the average Italian teenager has the attention span of a fucking mackerel. Professor Lavagna said, constant messaging harms children's development. It separates real emotions from the display of emotion, meaning teens can't form true empathetic relationships. That has helped to encourage 6% of children between 11 and 13, mostly girls, to post intimate photos of themselves. Now, Deke has 3 of them right here, which are often shared among peers and used to ridicule. However, on the flip side, listen to this. Here's the stat at the end that freaked me out. 21.6% of Italians have no internet access at all. You fucking guineas. Imagine that. Jew broad. Prejudice against Italians. No internet in this day and age. Imagine that. With the figure rising to 42.5% among Italians over 65. Yeah, because they get life. They're enjoying art and food and shit. They're not going, I hope Antonio gave me a thumbs up for that fucking lasagna recipe. But 21% of Italians, I don't even have the. Good for you. Good for you. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the week. Thank you so much, Patreon people. And again, we're having a great month. Shows are tight. Jason, what was that stat you gave me about the Monday shows up to like how many thousand?
We hit about 24,000 views yesterday.
Yeah,
in just a few days.
As of Wednesday, 2 days later. That means there's a storm a brewing. And it's in my pants. Everybody, anything else, nickdip.com, tour dates, cameo.com. That's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for a great week again. We appreciate your support. Remember, you guys think it. I will say it. You're very welcome. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Bye-bye.